You are the one who has done me. The stars, I go again. There's no warning. Don't know where, with whom you've been, but I do love you. Letters I sent to